Hey everybody, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy. And today we're going to unbox a figure from the Black Series Archive Collection. This is Boba Fett. So let's go set this guy free. Alright everyone, here we are with a Black Series Archive figure. This is Boba Fett. And if you're not familiar with what these archive figures are, they're brand new for 2019. They were just released in January. And they're really just nothing more than repacks of the first couple waves of the Black Series. And they're really doing this to accommodate collectors and to undercut some of the third-party vendors or third-party sellers you'll find on sites like eBay. And for example, if you go look up a Boba Fett in his original packaging, he was released in 2013, you're going to pay well over $100 for him. And so this is Hasbro's attempt at trying to help out collectors and kind of do away with some of this third-party overpricing. So I'm really glad to see them doing this. This is really something to help collectors and fans, and I'm really glad to see them doing it. But let's take a look at this thing. We're going to unbox Fett today, and let's take a look at the packaging before we cut him open. And there you go. You can see you get some nice artwork on the back and a really quick description. The notorious bounty hunter Boba Fett prepares to deliver the carbonite frozen Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt. And then they're showing you, it's kind of funny to me too, because if you look in really small print on the package here, when it's showing you the old original style packaging that came out in 2013, and it says in real small print, not available. So I just thought that was kind of funny. It's available if you're willing to pay, but that's what the back looks like. And again, they're trying to show you that really this is a repack. And just looking into these figures a little bit, one of the things Hasbro was really proud of is they're claiming they have a new way and a new technique for painting the figures that's supposed to be more detailed and more screen accurate. And I gotta say, I'm impressed. I think it looks really good. So let's cut into this guy. I'm dying to see Boba Fett. And right now, I can tell you right off the bat that if you don't know about Boba Fett, he appears in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And if you didn't know, there's two variations of his costume. And what you have in this package, this is the Empire Strikes Back version. And what the difference is his gauntlets are a different color in Return of the Jedi, and when we get him out of the pack, I'll show you the backpack is a different color too. And I actually have a little picture here on the side in a book. I'll show you guys the difference between Return of the Jedi Boba Fett and Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. So let's cut into this thing here. Try to save the card as best we can, and that would be, again, would be my only real complaint about these is I really like the boxes the Black Series figures come in, and because I'm someone who repacks them sometimes for display, and I can't really do that with this kind of packaging. Whoop, little card in there. Okay, but here he is out of the pack, and of course we have the jetpack with the missile and two of his weapons. And I'm going to go ahead and pop these accessories out. And we'll take a closer look at this later. Just going to put it off to the side for now. Whoop. And then, of course, his rifle. And then his... Oh, come out of there. Okay, then we have his pistol. And of course, the bounty hunter himself. So very nice. I'm really liking this thing already. So here he is. Very cool. And piece of cardboard everywhere. Cloth cape. I don't even know if you really call this a cape. I'm not sure what the proper terminology, but the fabric he's got hanging off. Very nice. And you can see the back is very detailed. You can actually see the buckles and everything on his belts. And I'm trying to see what other parts of the costume moved. We have movement on the... Okay, so that's one thing I'm a little let down by, that this little piece on his helmet is actually supposed to fall down over his eye. And they don't have that action, it appears. It looks like it's molded into position. So that's fine. And then you can see the gauntlets, very detailed, very nice. It almost looks like they come off, but no, they do not. Okay, and then you have the other gauntlet with, I believe this is the flamethrower gauntlet with the darts. But very nice looking, very nice sculpt on the helmet. And I'm going to go ahead and call this one, no, the helmet does not come off. That would have been cool if they did that. But you can see the shoes. Very nice. All right. So what I was talking about, and let's just real quick throw the backpack on here because he just doesn't look right with it on. And it's really quite simple. I thought it might be a little more, complicated than that. It's just a peg, and then you have two little tabs or little notches, and with little tabs that line up, that so you keep it in the right position. But it's fairly stiff getting it in there, to be honest with you. Okay, and very cool. You have his emblem on the shoulder pad. Very cool. Okay, so there he goes. Okay, I got the jetpack all the way in. So there he is with the jetpack. And so, as I was talking about a second ago, if you look at Boba Fett, this is his costume variation from The Empire Strikes Back. And the things you want to look at are the green gauntlets and the fact that the backpack is all green. That tells you that he's Empire Strikes Back version. So I have this book here, and I'll just real quick, I'm going to flash it in front of the camera and show you that here's another picture of Boba Fett. And as you can see here, if you look at the gauntlets, you see they're red. And then the cape, this is the other thing they changed in Return of the Jedi. In Return of the Jedi, his cape is green. And it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but if you see the backpack, this little piece of it, you can see it's actually blue. And if you've seen the other pictures of his backpack, there's variations of it where it's like kind of it's got a little bit of blue and red and yellow detailing on it. But this is what he looked like in Return of the Jedi. And so then what you see here is, again, Empire Strikes Back. And see how his cape is brown, the gauntlets are green, and the backpack is all green. And so my preference, I like the Empire Strikes Back version of them better. I like the all green and the all green gauntlets and everything. I think that looks good. But all right, real quick, I'm going to pop the backpack back off so we can run through his movements here. And one other thing I want to look at real quick is how this cape is attached. And it's kind of concerning me a little bit because it's just this little tiny spot where they have it glued into his shoulder, and it looks like it'd be fairly easy to rip. So you may want to be careful with that if you're going to unbox this guy and handle him. So I'm actually kind of watching that myself. I don't want to rip that off. But all right, real quick, let's run through his movements here. So you have head up and down, and you're going to have limits because of the helmet. He doesn't have that much head movement, but then you have a full rotation, and very good. And then going to the shoulders, you're going to have up and down. But again, depending on the costume of the character and how they design the figure, sometimes the costume can restrict the movement. So you have this armor plate that he has on his shoulder, and you can see it hits the armor that is on the upper part of his shoulder. And so that is the extent of his upward arm movement. That's it. And it's because right here, the two pieces of armor are hitting. So, I mean, that's fine. It's not that big a deal. Sometimes they make it so the armor slides under there. Okay, it's doing it a little bit, but I feel like I'm forcing it. But you can see how the armor starts to go under there, and that's good. But I don't want to break Boba Fett. So, okay, so then you're gonna have up and down movement. Okay, there it goes. It's going now. It's just stiff because he's brand new out of the box. Okay, so he does get full range on his arm. Okay, very cool. So then you have up and down movement. You just got to kind of work it a little bit. And I can already tell I'm scratching the paint on his emblem. So just be aware of that. You can see I've already done a little damage to it right in the upper left corner of it. And then, okay, so from there you're going to have rotation at the shoulder. He has up and down movement at the elbow. and rotation. And let's see here. Okay, and then again, you're going to have wrist rotation. Man, the detailing on these things are amazing. Look, you can actually see the texturing on his glove. And then you should have a little bit of up and down movement as well with his wrist. And going down from there, he has very minimal waist movement. He should be up and down. You can see the point of articulation is right above his belt. And so he does go back and forth a little bit, just not a whole bunch. And then does he rotate? Let's see here. Yeah, he does. You can rotate him too. Very cool. All right, then going down to his legs. And I'm just looking to see if this belt is removable because I can already tell. It looks like it's loose on the figure, his belt, but it's not. It doesn't look removable. I don't see any buckles you can undo or anything. Okay, so we're looking at leg movement, but okay. So you got side to side and a little bit of back and forth. And then right here on his upper leg, you can see there's another point of articulation where you can rotate his leg. And then you should have a knee back and forth. And geez, there's so many moving parts on these knees. It's amazing. Okay, does it rotate? No. Okay, so you just have up and back and forth at the knee, but you have 2 points of articulation. There's a point up here at the top of the knee pad and a point below the knee pad. So very cool. All right, and then down to his ankle, you just looks like you have back and forth movement with the ankle, and you gotta kind of looks a little tricky, but he does rotate too. So, but it's kind of scraping on the part of his pant cuff here, so you got to be aware of that. But other than that, it seems fine. He stands very nice. Okay, very cool. All right, and then let's make sure he stands. Yeah, you're not going to have any problem standing a Black Series figure. But then here, let's take a real quick. Let's just take a little bit closer look at the backpack, and I'm going to see if there's any moving parts on it. Sometimes on some of the Fett figures, the thrusters may rotate, but that does not appear to be the case here. But here you can see where it attaches to his back with the little tabs and the peg. That lines everything up. Got a little red detailing at the top, a little silver highlighting, and very nice, very detailed. You can see you got the battle damage on there, a little wear and tear. So let's see, does the missile come out? No, come on, guys. That would have been cool. All right. Very cool. So there's the backpack. We have his rifle. And I do not see any moving parts on this either. But you can see they put a little silver highlighting on it. Looks like it's got some paint wear and tear. So very cool. Very nice. And then, of course, his pistol, which seems pretty just two paint colors. You got the silver on the barrel and then the brown. So very nice. Very nice. And then one of the things I love about these Black Series is, of course, the working holsters, and it's kind of obvious which gun goes in there, but very cool. Nice working holster. You can see the barrel is going to poke out at the bottom there. Very cool. Okay, we're going to leave that in there for now, just for looks. And another thing, I want to put the backpack on there because it just looks cool. So, and it's a little bit stiff, not a big deal. I'm sure if you work with it or take it on and off a couple times, it'll probably be a little easier. But it's on there very good. It's not coming off. I'm tugging on it a little bit. It's staying. So you got to put a little bit of pressure on it to take it on and off. And to me, that's a good thing. That means it's going to stay in place when you put it there. So, and I believe you want to tuck the cape just a little bit behind the jetpack. Which, okay. So let's check out how he interacts with these rifles. And I'm going to assume that the pistol goes in this hand because that's the hand the holster's on, and the rifle's going to go in this hand. And we'll try it on both hands with both guns, but I'm just running with that assumption. And then looking at his hand sculpts, because that's really an important part of these characters, or these figures. You can see his hand sculpts are pretty darn near identical. Very good. All right, so let's see if we can get this thing in here. And it looks like with these figures, I'm noticing, I've opened a couple of them so far, you do have to kind of stretch the hands a little bit to... Yeah, he's a little bit tricky to get this thing in here. Let's see here. Yeah, wow. Okay, it's a little bit tricky because he's got this back part of the stock where you got to fit his thumb through, and then you got the trigger guard. You're trying to get the... I don't think he's really supposed to... Okay. There we go. I'm finding with these Black Series, you're kind of having to stretch the hand out a little bit. There we go. What I'm trying to do here, guys, is I'm trying to get the trigger finger in the trigger guard. And it doesn't really seem to look right. But okay, so... Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so there he is, interacting with his rifle, and it is a little bit tricky to get in there because, again, you have this thumb guard that you got to get his thumb through. It's a little bit tricky, and then if you want to get the trigger finger in the trigger guard, that's how that goes. And he's kind of, it looks better than I thought. It wasn't really, I didn't think it would come out looking as good as it is. So, but there you go. You can see how it lines up, and looks pretty good. And let's see here. Let's see if we can get the other one in this hand before we try swapping them. But yeah, he's one of the figures because, you know, he's a bounty hunter that carries guns. So both his hands have trigger fingers, and I really like that detail that they put in there. You can see he gets the trigger finger in the trigger guard. It looks really good. So this one is definitely fitting in his hand a lot better than the rifle, the pistol is. But they're in there nice and tight. They're not coming out. When you move the gun, it moves the character's arm. That's what you want to see. Very cool. And yeah, all right. Yeah, you can see now that I forced it in there. You can see how his fingers are kind of stretched out, or his hand is a little stretched out a little more. So, okay, so what I want to see is, can you swap the guns in either or hand? And yeah, it fits. So the pistol fits in his other hand, but you can see it's a little loose. I mean, it's not coming out, but it's not quite as tight a grip. And then, can we get this big thing in here again? Okay, yeah, all right. So it works. You can swap the guns, put them in either hand. It's not quite as... I don't know. You kind of work it a little bit to get it to sit right, but it'll get in. It'll sit right. You just gotta play with it a little bit. But there he is. You can swap the guns, either or hand. Very cool. And then again, we have the holster. I just like the way that looks. So we're gonna. Besides, really, you can only shoot one gun at a time, right? Of course not. So, all right. All right. So one of the things I want to try to do is get the rifle back in this hand. I kind of felt like it fit a little better in here. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing you're gonna have to do. You want to kind of come in like sideways like this. So, and then you can get the thumb in and you just kind of swing it around, and then you got to kind of work the trigger finger around, and it will go in there. Come on, Boba. Okay, there we go. There you go. It's a little bit of a... Got to work it in there a little bit, but it is doable, so very cool. All right, guys, there he is from the Black Series Archive Collection. This is Boba Fett from The Empire Strikes Back. And I hope you're enjoying the content. I hope you're enjoying the videos. And if you like what we're doing here, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have your support. And thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.